I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is the juice. You got Tech Talk on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Thank you for joining us and making us a part of your Monday. Keep hitting us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, reactions to the weekend, anger at your bracket. We'll take it. Or, you know what? Hey, if there's successes in your bracket, we'll take it too. It is bracket busting season. We'll start with what we have on the airwaves tonight. Over on 100.7 The Score, it is the high school fan zone. Catch up with that and stay up to date with all of your favorite area schools. Red Raider baseball won the rubber match against BYU 10-1. They scored 2 runs in the second inning, and then it was a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 3 in the 8th. So the only time you hang a zero is when you batted in the first inning. You can hear a recap of that series and look ahead to both Stephen F. Austin and your next Big 12 series, which is also a Thursday, Friday, Saturday set against UCF, with it being Easter week. You can hear that recap tonight after we're done, 6 o'clock. It's Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock live from Rudy's. And we'll go ahead and say this a few times today just to make sure everyone's filled in. Again, your breaking news that we started the show with, your game tomorrow against Stephen F. Austin for Red Raider Baseball. Bark in the Park, round 1. Second one's coming April 30th. But round 1 tomorrow, instead of a 6:30 first pitch, it is a 12:30 first pitch, moved up with expected bad weather. So you can hear coverage starting on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score at 12. Again, first pitch at 12:30. And Stephen F. Austin coming in on a roll, Gus.
Yeah, they're struggling. Throwing a left-hander tomorrow. So you can get ready.
Get ready. Get ready for the left hand.
The Lumberjacks are twirling a port cider.
Left-handed lumberjack sounds like a weird put down out there that could be in some parts of the universe. USTFCCCA outdoor rankings. First one has been revealed for track and field. And on the women's side, they have a 14th, or they're ranked 14th, excuse me, while the men's team is ranked 20th. They just completed the Masked Rider Open. They will go to the Texas Relays this weekend. So big event to get some of those, runners and stuff like that probably haven't been going just yet after the indoor season. I would expect a lot of their seasons to start this week. So we'll keep you up to date with all the rankings as you go week by week and look to go from an indoor championship to maybe an outdoor or 2 championships for both sides. And then for Iowa State softball, speaking of bad weather, they had bad luck. Now going into this, we left you on Friday saying, hey, Saturday had moved to a doubleheader. They'd already had to move around the series once. Sunday, they were basically just hoping to get it in, but not expecting to. Well, they didn't get any of them in, unfortunately, and they had to see that series be canceled. And so that means it's going to be a long wait before they see real game action again, which will be on Thursday whenever they host UCF. So that'll be over at Rocky Johnson Field starting Thursday. First pitch set for 6 o'clock. And speaking of brackets, you have, after the weekend, 2 Big 12 teams still alive. As Iowa State moved on to face Illinois, they beat Washington State 67-56. And then Houston survived Texas A&M with one of the better games of the entire weekend.
Oh, good.
195 in overtime, and they had, like a 10-point lead with 1:17 to go? Something like that. And Texas A&M found a way, hit a buzzer beater 3 off of a wonky inbound play to send it to overtime, but Houston does survive. They'll face Duke, which means you saw Baylor and Texas lose. So if you are rooting, just, yay, Big 12, go do good, you got two teams that you're still going to be able to watch in the Sweet 16 round. And that is the juice. Obviously, you get knocked out, Gus, in a very disappointing way. By the way, North Carolina State still alive, who knocked you out. And, you go from there. And I'm just curious because a lot of people have different takes on how they handle after you get knocked out. And maybe that depends on the team. That depends on the year. I feel like for the most part, there's consistency in people's answers. Are you one that's like, as soon as your team is out, you're just like, I want anarchy, or I don't care, or I can't watch the rest of the weekend? Or do you have an approach?
Yeah, that's you just described me. I have a tough time being as interested, anywhere near as interested. I almost have an easier time being interested in the tournament if we aren't in there than if we get in and then get beat.
Yeah.
It's like I need some space.
That's what mine is usually. I can't watch the rest of not just that round, but whatever that weekend is. I have a hard time watching the rest of it unless it's like Final Four. Then I'll watch the championship game, something like that. But this year's been a little bit different because I didn't get to take in as much of the opening weekend the way the schedule's aligned. And so yesterday was really the first day that I got to really plant myself, if you will, and the wind keeping you indoors kind of helped with that.
Oh,
and
kept
just
you inside, huh?
And just turn into a I didn't go say, you know what I need to do with that tree in the wind? I need to move it.
Good day for yard work.
You know what I really want to do right now is operate an auger. I just see wind, see brown and gray, and I'm like, I really want to.
Forearms hurt just hearing you talk about it. God, dang. Yes, no, you're right. It was a good day to be inside and watch hoops, and once we settled in, and I was truly like, oh yeah, there should be some games on flipping around, and I can't remember. I kept an eye on maybe the Bama game, watched kind of back and forth between some stuff on TV or whatever, and then that Houston game, and I'd like brush my teeth and shut it down, like, all right, I'm gonna go back in there and check the last 30 seconds of this game, and A&M hits that big Houston misses just enough free throws down the stretch, and A&M hits that three at the buzzer and to tie it, and but yeah, that was a gut check for really both those teams. And it's of course we don't know what next year's basketball schedule is, but my assumption is if we play Houston again, that they would be here, if they do their best to try to maintain some degree of rotation. And A&M's coming here on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the night after Thanksgiving, which will lead into the West Virginia football game on Saturday. And I'm watching those two play, and I'm going, ooh, I'm not ready to think about all that yet. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad that somebody has to process that, but
we're in the big binder.
Yeah.
Do you have the page where you're scouting for next year?
I don't. I know. I don't.
All right, if this guy's still here, he likes to go right.
Exactly.
He doesn't have a left hand.
Here's what I would say about all of them. They're pounding the offensive glass. All right.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I was sitting there watching those two play as hard as they do, thinking, all right, I want the 24-25 version of us to be that frenzied and aggressive and
gritty,
all of those
tough,
things. Yeah, and big.
Just playing like big
and athletic.
Playing like sandpaper out there. I mean, just rugged.
Love it.
Although that almost is what bit Houston with it, because it felt like in the first half that they were letting a lot of stuff go. And then in the second half, all of a sudden the fouls started racking up, and you're down 4 players.
Like good players fouling out.
I know you have scholarship players on the court around them, but Shed was about to be like that episode in Fresh Prince when he's looking around, there's no furniture, and he's like, where's everybody at? Oh, man. That was a great game, though.
Yeah, it was. That was fun.
It is a Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. Back with more next.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's a Monday edition of Tech Talk. You got us on Double T 97.3 and Double T97.3.com. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Ben Poorman behind the glass. We'll have Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock after we're done, right at 6 o'clock live from Rudy's, so you can hear it on Double T 97.3, or if you just got a hankering for some barbecue and some question asking, you can go over to Rudy's tonight and go take it in live. Gus, you come off of a series where Thursday afterwards you're a little antsy going into Friday's game. At the end of Friday's game, you were antsy until you eventually walk it off. Tried to give it up, and then yesterday you really put it to BYU. What are your feelings of Texas Tech baseball right now? Because Thursday to now just felt like such a big difference. Yeah, huge swing for me.
I agree. That game Saturday, the final game of that series might have been the best pitched game of the season. Those guys set a tremendous tone, retiring the last 16. And Jacob Rogers was fantastic. And you slowly, you take away his first two outings, and it's been pretty good since then. It's been perfect, but it's been pretty good. And, Parker Hutera continues his good work, and suddenly it feels like there's a couple of bullpen arms that can help. It's funny, the two outings prior to Friday night, game 2 of that series, Sanders gets hit on the foot by the line drive with one out in the ninth. Free comes in, gets the first guy, landed some breaking balls in that sequence, just boom, 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 and looked good doing it. And I thought, okay, those two bad outings, because the outing against New Mexico State wasn't good. I think he faced 4 hitters and gave up homer and 2 doubles or something and got an out. And then against Baylor, it was base hit, like a chop single. Off the bat, you're thinking, double play ball, and it was this chop single over third base, over McGee's head, infield single. You go, nope, not out of 6-4-3, and then drills the guy with the next pitch or something, and you're like, mercy, 3 hitters and just nothing. And so you start to put those two outings together, and they're terrible for free. And then he comes in and makes some pitches and had to do the full warm-up on the mound and all that because of the injury. Yeah. Thinking, okay, he's in good shape. And then, gets a fastball up. Dude, Herdsman hits it into the Tech bullpen. We're tied. And then they go on and win it. And then he gets the next out, boom, boom, boom. And so I walked away from Friday night thinking, hey, that's a tough deal because he made one bad pitch. But it was a better outing for him than the 2 previous. But regardless, you go look at that, and it's like, man, he was dynamite through the first 5 and then really struggled the last 2, certainly 3 the other day. But you throw in Rogers and Hutera, feels like they're getting some bullpen pieces going. And Rogers has the arm that his stuff, is as good as anybody's on the staff. And it's what we've said about him and Petty. And Tim evidently said in some post-game media that Petty's, there's some injury concern there. So we don't know about that. Maybe get a little more information on that tonight. But because he was fantastic 2 Tuesdays ago, and then last week was kind of a mess in that first inning. So anyway, I walked out of there feeling better about the pitching than I have in a while, for sure. And Bazell looked like himself. Got to catch a couple games this weekend, which Tim had said he probably wasn't going to catch all 3, but he just looked like himself again. Barreled a ball to right center, looked like he was staying on the thing pretty good, and then hit the home run. If you'd have told me we were 2 games in or whatever before he did his first home run, I would concern me. But that's where we are. But then I was pretty, Bravo just keeps being Bravo. That's amazing, and it looks like he's going to play center field for a while.
Yeah, it's good to see. After you have the hand incident, not a dip or something like that, and a smoother transition back into it.
That was exactly my concern, dude.
You never know how that's going to affect someone.
Those things can be naggy, man. You get a wrist or a hand, and it'll be some little. That's why when people make fun of baseball, blah, can't play, he's got a sprained pinky. And like, well, this game doesn't allow you to. You know what? This game you can play with a. You could, depending on the position you play, you might be able to get away with a torn hamstring.
Yeah.
Not a jacked up hand though. Yeah. Not a jacked up ring finger or whatever. So yes, it's.
Although we don't suggest tearing your hamstring and trying to play baseball on it.
Stay
away from that.
No, that's exactly right. But I'm just saying, depending on the injury, you can get into some bad stuff. And still play this game, but not wrists and hands. So I was glad to see him get back in there and flow.
It's early, but I want you to tell me how what's your thoughts on this as I tell you the Big 12 standings right now.
I know, man, dude.
Kansas State, who did have some expectations.
OU was bonkers Friday night, throwing a no-hitter or whatever, and then they get swept by West Virginia in Norman.
Yeah,
golly. Dude,
it feels like a big missed opportunity for a squad that's 7-2 though in conference play, and as we mentioned was a surprise. And then on the so Oklahoma in second, Texas and West Virginia in third and fourth at 4-2, and then you jump all the way to something equally surprising, if not to me more surprising. Horned Frogs. What is going on over with TCU? 2-7 right now.
Because they were a rolling ball of butcher knives.
Yeah, 15-0 heading into conference play, and now 17-7 overall. And
they had played, USC, UCLA, I think Arizona State. So I don't know about any of those teams just singularly, but you see pretty good brands on there. It's not like they were beating up on Podunk State, but. Yeah, I wouldn't have predicted this, and I also wouldn't say, hey, write them off because they're not very good. Wouldn't do that.
And it's the important part of that is it's early, and you've got a lot of time to make up some ground. But I will say this, as far as getting behind the eight ball, to bounce off of some concerns that you had voiced, is how many teams are the Big 12 going to get in? Well, this sort of start to me doesn't scream like, man, look how competitive the Big 12 is. It's like, look at this RPI pain that you might go through as a conference, where maybe you get some of those teams that you would look as a big opportunity that with how they've played suddenly isn't that big of an RPI boost if you beat them or something like that, and maybe turns into, gosh, you gotta beat them while they're still a super talented roster, and it's easier said than done. And
sure.
Like TCU, I wonder if they do turn it into that. And I'm not saying you should sit here and root for them to be the Horned Frogs. If they don't turn it around, I don't know what's going to happen with that opportunity. Because whatever they're going to do is whatever they're going to do, and you have to worry about yourself. But as far as the conversation of getting, I don't know, however many, the 5 in total for teams in the NCAA tournament, that's the sort of stuff that's going to hurt you.
Oh, no doubt. And you're exactly right. That'll be a fun thing to watch. But I would just guess that this isn't going to be just a hammer of an RPI year for any of us in this league. It's going to be the kind of year where you darn sure don't want to slip up in non-conference, to like the Stephen F. Austin type teams. You just can't afford it. There's not enough heft in the league to carry you, I don't think.
It's Tech Talk here on Double T 97.3.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's Tech Talk here on Double T 97.3, doublet97.3.com. Tell you what's going on here in 15 minutes. We're not spelling anymore.
Yep.
The Regional B came and went.
Yep. Young fella won that one this weekend, and that was cool to see. I saw that on the news last night.
Did you see the winning word?
No, I
asked this in without knowing.
Ledger Domain.
What was the one that I got?
Holly, what's his name?
Farouk. I don't think they threw him out in Northern Iowa.
I think they threw out the proper noun.
What was the one I got on Friday? I got it right. Phantasmagoria?
Yeah, Phantasmagoria, maybe. Or Goric, yeah.
Phasmagoria.
Phantasmagoria.
Language of origin. Gus. Hey, some baseball news for you. A couple different things. We'll start on the Rangers side. And a fella that the Red Raiders faced in regional play, Mr. Wyatt Langford.
Yeah, like in June.
Yeah.
Like 9 months ago.
Highly touted prospect, ends up being drafted by the Rangers. We have the sound of him being told, "Hey, young man," which is just crazy. You've made the 40-man roster. This is what this sounded like, meaning-wise, between him and Mr. Bochy.
Good. I got to tell you, one of the coolest moments, for a manager is a moment like now. That's being able to tell you you're with the major league team here, and I could be happier, I could be prouder for you. I mean, how fast this is all happening for you, and I got to tell you, there's never any doubt in our mind. I don't know if you ever had any doubt, but I just want you to know this is a really, really cool moment. You're going to help us win. You're going to help us win a championship here, and so congratulations on everything that's happened to you. I know, just a year ago you're playing for the Gators, and now here you are. So it's pretty cool. Nice work again.
Thank you. And I'm excited. We'll win some games.
Awesome, Wyatt. Congratulations. You've earned it, man, and this is just the beginning. You got the best yet to come, so proud of you. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right. Nice work.
Crazy.
Yep. He has just exploded onto the scene, and he wasn't there was no dark horse there. I mean, he was the third overall pick, I think. Physical, and jumped right into Double-A and tore it up, and has just delivered in every brief stay since. There's some idea that he and Evan Carter there may be some platoon and kind of protecting them a little bit in certain matchups or whatever, because they're both extremely young, extremely exciting prospects. But man, it really is amazing to think about. That dude played against the Red Raiders in June, and in the region final.
And like from the Rangers' perspective, I mean, you already took advantage of, and I know there's been some anger, maybe how you've handled like Jordan Montgomery, who's still available, and maybe a little bit of a lack of movement on the pitching side for your roster. But you look back just at last year, the youth that you used to be productive for you to win a World Series. I mean, to look at a guy like that you're now like, hey, between Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford looking at Carter like that's the vet to me. I mean,
right.
he's won a World. Josh Young's a vet. He's won a World Series. He's been
Grizzled
here a
veteran.
couple years now.
And I think we talked about this just in the context of the postseason. Once it got on into the postseason and into the World Series, and at that point we were all like, yeah, that's Evan Carter. He's our dude. Yeah, and I remember saying on this show, like, he was called up to the Rangers after Tech played football at Wyoming. And then, 6 weeks later, we're sort of like, yeah, that's our guy. Like just what you're saying, like, yeah, that's our no-brainer dude there. It just goes, I guess it's one of the many reminders that guys like, him and Evan Carter are running around in Frisco, thus Amarillo and Midland out here, and you can go see him for $8.
Right.
If you're ever if you're up there visiting family or business or whatever, especially if you're a Ranger, like if your team's in there playing, it's not so much like the D-backs and the A's are the two affiliates in Amarillo and Midland, but if if you see Frisco on the schedule, like, I was kind of curious about what some of those young dudes look like. Yeah, go. You never know who you're going to see.
Go meander a couple hours just the way, either side.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, the other good news here regarding big leaguers and roster was the Clayton Beeter to the New York Yankees news.
Houston, what would it mean to you to be on that Major League opening day roster?
It would mean a lot. I mean, surely a lot of people would be able to make it to Houston easier than New York, I guess. But I'm excited.
What do you think the next couple days will be like as you wait to see what becomes official?
I don't know. Everybody here is really cool, and I feel like I fit in with the guys, and so it's not too much of a shock because they're all just taking me in so well.
Yeah, and that interview was conducted either Saturday or Sunday, I think, and yesterday. And he obviously at the time that interview was done, it wasn't known or hadn't been discussed with him yet. But you do think about that he would be the 36th Texas Tech Red Raider to pitch in a big league game, and sort of him being on the roster is one thing, but that's not the same thing. He needs to appear at a game to officially be the 36th. Our 36th big leaguer, our most recent big leaguer was late last summer, John McMillan with the Royals. And, I think Clayton got married in January, maybe early February. He was here for the UCF game, the Tech baseball reunion that I talked about so much on that weekend. So, and looked like $1 million, just a grown man. And he was drafted in the little – we never really got to see the best of him because he came here hurt and didn't pitch the first year. The next year he closed, was kind of fighting in and out of his command and all that stuff. Then the next year he's our Friday night guy and the season ends due to COVID. That's why when Kirby retells that story about breaking the news to his coaches, all of them, that he remembers looking over at Tim, and Tim just dropped his head when the news of the season getting canceled, because you're looking at this guy, a big leaguer, and knowing there goes my Friday guy.
I saw that earlier today, and the only thing I could think of is like he was saying, Clayton Beeter's not walking through the door. I was like, well, he can't. He's over there with the Yankees.
He's in New York.
It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
30 more minutes with us here on Tech Talk. You've got us on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. You can also take us anywhere with a mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Ben Porman behind the glass. Get your questions in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line for Ask Tech Talk. That'll be 15 minutes from now. 30 minutes from now, it's Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock here on Double T 97.3 in the high school fan zone with Garrett Luft over on 100.7. The Score. District baseball off and running, and softball for all the local programs. So, fun time. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line from Bullfighter. He says, my migraine happens between 3 to 6 on Double T 97.3, and its name is Clint Scott. Always good to hear from you, Bullfighter. Sooner in Lubbock, bacon and mac and cheese is underrated.
Yeah, that's again. You're not gonna go wrong with that kind of stuff, man. That stuff works everywhere.
Oh, here's one of this. Ooh, so I punched the microphone. I apologize, microphone.
I did that earlier too.
Hope I don't bruise it.
It's our first day on the air, apparently.
Rookie radio here on Tech Tech. Jalapeno poppers.
Oh yeah,
Huge
that's
fan.
what I'm saying. That's the list goes on and on. The conversation was good, appropriate uses for bacon. Never-ending list.
Yeah, the jalapeno popper though, man, that is now I like them fried too, but the bacon one is grilled, and just the very classic staple cream cheese, jalapeno, bacon, and it grilled. That as an appetizer, so underrated. And speaking of bacon, going on an endless list of things, there's an endless amount of meals that I would start jalapeno poppers off with if someone offered them or like had them on the menu. Oh man. One time we did them way back when, one of the first times I was doing them at the house by myself. And you can get the dyed toothpicks, and so it's got like blue, red, green, yellow in there. Wasn't thinking about this, just like saw, I can't remember on the back what I read, but it was like safe for. So I was like, oh, okay. So it looked like I had made Easter jalapeno poppers because the dye had ran off into the cream cheese. We still ate them and we didn't die and we didn't get a tapeworm in our brain. So,
that's good.
We cooked them to the right temperature. I know that.
You got enough.
There was something off, though, about this Willy Wonka Dr. Seuss jalapeno popper. Like, oh, you want the blue popper or the red popper? I will eat poppers, Sam, I am. Sam says, thanks, Clint. I can't stop scratching myself. You're welcome. This on the chat line. Weather? What weather? We've really gotten soft around here. That's not the first time we've moved up a game because of expected weather, right? Bad weather.
No, it's not. The chance of weather. But take that up with somebody else. There's a messenger here.
Yeah. The next time they ask us, like, hey, Clint, Gus, what time should we play this game? That'll be the first one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Our job is to report.
This on the chat line: cook your meat to the proper temperature. Yes. And here's where we learned. The brainworm. The brainworm, which was likely cysticercosis, butchered that, is not from out-of-date pork. It's due to it being undercooked and was always present. That's why you cook all pork to 165 degrees. This from Lindell Jeff. Why has Owen not been playing? He's one of my favorites.
I don't know. Just I would tell you that there's, I guess, hotter hitters in front of him. Stripling and Stripley fitting into the DH thing is the other thing that's probably pushed Owen out. Or and he's gotten a couple pinch hit at bats in the last couple of weeks and just struck out with them, and so it's the fact that Bravo moved to center field also probably gives you an indication of where they are with that, because there's some dudes that got put up. I mean, go look at the conference only stats across the board and you can really kind of see some things revealed. Doesn't mean they can't play at this level or play at the Big 12 level, but it tells you who's been hitting and who hasn't. And like Gage got the start, I guess, in that Thursday night game, and then he was not in center field Friday or Saturday and things, because it allows them to get Woodcocks in there, and I mean, Woody's still going to have some chases in there. He's still going to chase some breaking balls low and away, and there's still going to be some ugly finishes to some at bats. But he's so strong, and he'll go wreck some things. And he put together some at bats, and I mean, I'm sure that Tim would say that, like, hey, he's putting together good at bats and moving on the right pitch, and he'll do some damage. He's always done damage against left-handers, and now he's hanging in there and putting up numbers right now. So hopefully, but yeah, I don't, the challenge for Owen, and I've been there, and my sophomore and junior year, there were stretches where you wouldn't play, and like staying in the right headspace. Knowing what I know now, I probably wasn't there, but that's a tough thing for a young player. I can't even imagine what it's like, and I'm not implying anything here, but I just can't even imagine that. It wasn't something that we sat around in our day and went, I wonder what the portal's going to be like this winter. I mean, whereas for these guys, if they start to see, sort of a clouded deal there, and hopefully not, but it's just a weird situation. Yeah, but anyway, I don't. They haven't given up on him
in all sports, where it's fair to wonder that as a fan and someone that's not in that inner circle, and even within the inner circle, the athlete himself, because you do have that availability, and for whatever reason, and there's multiple ones that you can enter the portal. It's just like, bam, like that.
When you get it, you're gone. And as far as Owen's deal is concerned, when he does get an opportunity, the best thing to do is go out and hit a couple balls hard and have people go, hey, wait a minute, we need to find a place for him to stand.
Yeah.
He's getting hot again.
Lots rolling in on the chat line. It's Ask Tech Talk on the other side, brought to you by Visual Edge IT. Get your thoughts on the Yates Flooring Center chat line as well. We'll be right back with one more for Tech Talk. You got us on Double T97.3 and Double T97.3.com.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's Tech Talk here on Double T97.3, Double T97.3.com. Ask Tech Talk, brought to you by Visual Edge IT. A couple questions here on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can hit us up there as well. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Ben Poorman behind the glass. We got this. Visited a buddy in Fort Collins and had a jalapeno popper pizza at a sports bar. Outstanding pie. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That'll get the job done. Having grilled pork chops, sauteed onions, and mushrooms with green beans and sliced potatoes with bacon grease in it, and several ultras. Man, go to town.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds like a great Monday night. Shelly said bacon-wrapped mushrooms stuffed with cream cheese, crab, scallions, and mushroom stems. I'm in on the stuffed mushroom. Are you a mushroom guy?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's not my favorite thing, but yeah, when they're like,
it's not like
grilled on top of steak or that kind of thing, that kind of mushroom, I love those. Yeah.
Mushroom Swiss burger. I'm a supporter
absolutely.
of.
And I'll eat a the kind of raw ones you see on a salad bar or something, but I'm just eating a bowl of them.
I don't think I've ever had a raw mushroom.
Like salad bar stuff I have, yeah.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Since no civilized nation feeds raw garbage to pigs anymore, the whole worm thing is no longer valid. Well, the story did come out of Florida, I'll remind you. So
yeah, there's your civilized nation.
Here's a question off the chat line. One day I'm going to meet someone who's like a hardcore Florida fan, and they're going to fight me because I feel like I just talk crap on Florida a lot. But you know what? It is what it is. I would have gone and viewed the Florida Man games.
There's some hill people in that deal there.
Swamp people.
Yep, that
Other
too.
Direction. Everglades people. You know what? They would call me a person of the plains, and that would be fair. What grade would you give Coach McCaslin this season? I'm going A- because I think they had a real opportunity to make the Sweet 16 and leaves room for improvement next season.
Yeah, it's A- all the way. You put it in the context of just what was done around here in 10 months, and then that alone, and then you throw in the torn ACL for one of your better defenders and a guy who contributed with size in an area that we weren't especially blessed with. Yeah.
Well, and again, go back to before the season started. If I do the change, how expectations change the more you watch a team, it's maybe a different answer. But from its entirety of what I expected, and the danger you were in of the season you were just coming off of, because just as quickly as now it feels like you can turn around a program, you can also go the other way with it and really put a program in a rut with an exceptionally bad year, and of course the way that it happened, and then now on top of it, in 3 years you're having your third different coach, at least in the hiring process.
Amazing.
And so as many highs as you reached under Beard, and as really, I would say, and you can go all the way back to when Tubby started, like from that meteoric rise to relevance as a basketball program that since Bobby Knight for a decade, it had been really bad. You have this meteoric rise, and all of a sudden your maybe household name is too strong, but a college basketball fan looks and go, okay, that's the Texas Tech Red Raiders, right? You're on that level, at least. Well, then you can immediately go the other direction, and you can pull a Louisville. Look what's happening over there. Look what's happened over at Michigan. Louisville and Michigan, the championship caliber. Those are teams with championships, right? and like a significant basketball history. And so all of that added together, I was going, hey, just, if you find a way to the tournament year one for McCaslin, and if it's not a dumpster fire along the way, big thumbs up over here, and you way exceeded that. So
big time.
So it has to be an A, but then you go into the how expectations change. I'm with you guys for an A-. But again, for what it could have been and all the offseason we had last year and the things you were trying to fix, man, it's hard to ask for a better season. Now, again, I get disappointing early exit. And if you get past, North Carolina State, we're all sitting here doing the what if and doing the Sweet 16 route and all that. And that's easy to do as you watch North Carolina State go and get another win. But still, like the year you were coming off of, and I think how important this season was, the fact that you had one of your better finishes in conference play, you were a plus seed, you made some noise all year long in the best conference in America, all while kind of calming some fears and some concerns, I would think, of people around here with a year one coach and the same. Can he get it done? He got it done in North Texas. He got it done on the JUCO. All these different levels that he's had success. But can he do it in the Big 12? For year one, yes, he can.
Yep. It'd be hard for me to ask for much more. When we came into the season, I was thinking, get the tournament, man. I'm fired up for this dude. Mm-hmm. And they did. And they entertained us. They made that home court good again. Crowds were interested all the way through. I mean, just all the things we'd want. And I just can't wait to see what's up next.
And so now you go from just tournament disappointment here with losing the first game. Now you're going, okay, well, you have baseline expectation for next year, right? Like, hey, you're expecting to go back and get into the tournament again. You're expecting, at least I am, Grant McCaslin to, in the offseason, piece together another roster that's going to get you there and hopefully retain some guys that you're excited about and, Darian Williams and guys like that, your core. So
I agree.
I know it's over, but I'm already I'll be excited for work next
year. I'm anxious to hear portal news and that kind of stuff as well, just to go through that process because it seems like it would be pretty favorable around here.
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.